It was the same dream job Amupanda shares.
Okay.
Housing. But mine was a bit more realistic.
Good morning. We are joined by Dr. Stanley Shanapinda, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Telecom Namibia Limited. He is an author and former research fellow at the Optus Le Trobe University Cybersecurity Research Hub in Melbourne, Australia, and the inaugural CEO of the Communication Regulatory Authority of Namibia, also known as CRAN. He has over 18 years of experience in the ICT sector as legal counsel, CEO, and researcher. Stanley researched and published on the access to and the use of telecommunication metadata, the role of telcos to protect privacy, ensure cybersecurity, digital services, digital transformation, the digital economy and digital disruption, the development of communication technologies, and the role of oversight and governance. Stanley, clearly all things digital and ICT, you're the man to go to. Good morning. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Tell us a bit about your childhood. Were you a hair raiser? Were you a troublesome child? Were you just, sorry, I just jumped into it like that. Tell us a bit about how you grew up and where.
Oh, yeah, that's a scary question, isn't it? I feel like I'm speaking to my psychologist here.
And how does that make you feel?
Yes, tell me about your child trauma. No, I had a happy childhood raised by my grandmother. And so, you know what they say about kids of, growing up with grandparents, absolutely spoiled. Rotten and very entitled. So I blame my grandma for all of those things. And when my grandpa passed, we moved back with my mom. And a good childhood. I was raised in church. Very shy kid, kept to myself various times. Went to school in Donkerhoek and Bethel, and then went to Korean Junior Secondary for high school, and finished at Jan Moore. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Growing up, what were your biggest dreams, and what world problem did you aspire to changing?
It was the same dream job Amupanda shares.
Okay.
Housing. But mine was a bit more realistic. Just the house that I grew up in.
Right.
As you know, you've got a 2-bedroom house in Karatura. There's a big family.
Right.
And I can remember as a child just drawing pictures of having a bigger house.
Right.
And having a bigger house in a particular part of Karatura, which is Luxury Hill.
Right.
And I've been lucky enough to actually make that dream come true.
Really?
Yes.
Are you selling? Because I'm looking to buying.
It's not happening. The bank told me we are overcapitalizing on this house. I said, I know why. It's my childhood dream. You're going to pay for that house. I don't care.
Stanley, when your morning starts and your feet hit the ground, what sets your heart on fire? What inspires you? What motivates you?
Oh, wow. I have to think a little bit there between all of the various things that get me out of bed. The big one is my job. It's the opportunity to, really take the digital infrastructure, firstly, of this country to the next level. And then to enable the benefits that come from the digital economy.
Right.
That would probably be the number one thing.
Right. I mean, your background is law. You have a legal background, and now you're marrying digital ICT with your legal background. How do you then foresee maybe within the next 5 years, next 10 years, the future in terms of our digital space and what we're trying to achieve as a nation?
So we've got quite a few gaps in the country in terms of just basics.
Right.
At some point, we thought, the infrastructure we have is good enough where everyone can still, make a call here and there.
Right.
So that's all right.
It's all right.
So we need to do a bit of transformation because technology is changing so much, and if you just miss one or two steps, you get left behind completely. I mean, everything revolves around communications technology. And so what we foresee happening in the next 3 to 5 years, particularly the plans we have around with Telecom Namibia, would be to see a regional expansion of our mobile network, more towers out there.
Right.
Absolutely. We also foresee more fiber connectivity, because fiber is really the future. It gives you greater capacity to communicate with. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that you lived with your grandmother and she was a big influence in your life. In addition to her, what other influences, notable influences, either people or just experiences in your life that have had an immense shaping to the man that you are today?
It would probably be my godparents as well, my grandmother's sister. Who also, guided me every step of the way still growing up. And, they were there for all the graduations. They were all there for some of the major achievements, just reminding me of, staying true to who and what you are. Family has a way of reminding, keeping you humble.
I know they do that.
Remember,
yeah.
I wiped your bottom.
Yeah. That auntie, that uncle that comes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then globally, it would probably be Barack Obama.
Yeah, Obizi.
Yes.
He's a friend of mine.
Please,
yeah.
Can you ask him if you can share the digits?
I got you.
Yeah, now that the man's got all the time on his hands.
He does, yeah.
He can reach out to a brother.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, Stanley, any life or career advice you'd like to share with our listeners? Somebody that just has listened to your story and said, you know what, I want to emulate the process that he's gone through, because I see where you are and I want to be either there or somewhere similar.
My first advice would be think ahead. Don't ever be satisfied with where you are right now. Think 2-3 steps ahead. Where you are right now, what is that preparing you for? Are you just happy, chilling, doing what you're doing, coasting? But think about how what you're doing currently is enabling you for the next big thing in your life.
There we go. Stanley, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it, and we'll be observing you from a distance.
I'll be watching back.
There we go. Dr. Stanley Shanapinda, CEO of Telecom Namibia Limited, talking about his life and saying, think ahead, guys. It's very, very, very important. Our Royal Hustler this morning, Dr. Stanley Shanapinda.
Royal Hustlers was proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation.
Good today, better tomorrow.